All right, we don't have any time to waste today. I got myself a new project. We gotta get to work quick, and you'll see why in just a second. But first, here it is. Yes, I got myself a Mustang GT. And as you guys know by the title, this car is not for me. Now, if you guys remember, it was years ago, I bought my brother a Mustang that looked pretty much exactly like this, except it was the base model. It was the V6 automatic. And ever since that time, we've been looking to find himself a GT, an upgraded V8 version. And finally, I found the perfect one, which is this one. But it needs just a little bit of work done. And unfortunately, that little bit of work is an entire paint job. Overall, the entire car is in great condition, but there's just some things that you can't overlook. And the paint is the mainstay of all of this. The engine runs great, the transmission runs great, the brakes work great. Heck, even the interior really doesn't have any rips or tears despite being this old. But when you come to areas like the roof, it's just beyond bad. And it extends to the doors and to the hood. And it's just something where I can't give it to him and be like, hey, here's a better car, but this looks worse because the paint is worse. So here's our plan of attack, and it literally will be an attack. We're going to start by completely sanding down the entire exterior of the car and getting it ready for paint. I'm gonna paint it the same red as the Supra. It actually works out well because although I've done it the past couple of cars, it's the perfect color to have for the Mustang. I mean, just look at the difference in the color vibrance. The red one is just completely full. The red one, wow, I just did that. The Supra is completely full of life with its red, and the Mustang just looks like it's barely holding on. And the Supra's red will look so good on the Mustang, giving it a completely brand new life and make it stand out that much more. It won't look like, hey, I got a nice red that looked good in its heyday, but it's gonna be something that's completely vibrant and really able to pop out in a crowd. Poor choice of words, but you know what I mean. So the plan is simple, and we're gonna go ahead and pull this car down, start by giving it a good pressure wash, getting off all the hidden moss and grime, everything that's in the corners essentially, and then literally just start sanding. So, long day ahead of us, let's get to work. Man, look how good that looks all cleaned up. It really gives me this really nice glimpse as to how good it's actually going to look once we have it completely painted. And like, it's hard to tell because on camera, I'm sure some of you guys are thinking, why does this actually need to be fully repainted? I know there's clear coat peel, but it looks good. And yes, it does from here. There's still water on it, so it's essentially adding another clear coat as compared to when it's completely dried out, especially in the summer when everything will just look a little more faded because of the sun. But when you look close, you can see those spots on the roof, and those are just horrendously blatant and just ruin a lot of the look of the car. Plus, this isn't a car that isn't just gonna be sold in like a year or two. This is probably gonna be something that my brother's gonna hold on to until he can get himself something really nice, or probably starts a family, I don't know. And that's a while off. So it's something that I really want to address, because otherwise, despite how great the car is with the nice engine and all that, it's just gonna be way too noticeable, the fact that, well, there's just clear coat peeling. So I wanna make sure that it's actually really nice. And the car I'm giving him is an upgrade beyond just the engine, as I mentioned before. So it's starting to drizzle now. The rain should fade in about an hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the car inside, let it completely finish drying off, and then we're gonna go ahead and start sanding. All right, so I got the car all sanded up now, and it's at a point where we're ready to wash it up and get it all cleaned and let it start sitting some more to dry out a bunch before we could actually get it over to go to the paint booth. Now, this actually went a bit quicker than I was anticipating because there's no dents. Like, it's weird. There's actually no dents on the entire car. Amazing. So we're gonna go ahead and pressure wash it one last time, trying to get every crevice completely clean and blasted out in case there's any more moss or whatever it may be or grime stuck in this car. And then we're gonna give it a hand wash as well. I have some dish soap that'll help get a lot of the extra grease if there's anything else on, and then we can go ahead and dry it off and let it continue to dry before we go ahead and bring it over to the paint booth to get it completely painted. So that's the next thing that we have on our list of things to do. Moving right along, we still have a lot more to do even after it's painted, so let's continue the work.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, 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 let us heal.
The Mustang is now all washed up and it's drying out, but the next thing we have to do is we have to prep, sand, and paint this wing. Now, the reason we're doing this right now, as opposed to doing it with the rest of the cars, the fact that this one is actually going to be painted black, and I'm going to use a metallic spray rattle can black that I have because it gives off a really nice flake, and I really like the color, and I know my brother does as well, and so I'm going to paint it that base coat now, and then when we go and paint this car, I'll bring this in when it's time to do the clear coat on this car, so I can clear coat this one as well, so that way it all has the same clear coat, and this one ends up looking as gloss as this one, so that way that one doesn't mismatch this one, and this one will actually match this one as well, so there's no mismatch between this one and that one. Got it? It's just the next thing that we have on our list of things to do, and right now it's about 2:30, 3 o'clock, I think, and I want to make sure that I can get time to run down to the paint store to get some sealer because I don't have any left anymore, and I need to grab that, so that way tomorrow, hopefully, which is Saturday, I can just go ahead and just run through everything and get the car completely painted and done, so that way it could sit through Sunday, and then next Monday, we'll be able to bring it all back and have it completed for the paint section at least, and then I got to figure out a way to con my brother in a way that I can get his car and use it. To steal it. He lives out of town and I want to swap everything over from his car to this one, but that's not a problem for today. Painting is. Let's get to work.
Even if we fall, we will rise up and we follow the path that we believe in. No, we're not gonna stop until we reach it. Oh, all you need to know is that we're holding on. We rise up from the dust and clear my throat. We rise up from the dust and clear my throat.
Alright, so we got the Mustang back at the house. It is painted and looks so much better than it did before. The red pops so much, especially in this sunlight right now, and it overall looks absolutely stunning. I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's not a perfect paint job, let me not deceive you in that regard, but it does look so much better than what it used to before we actually went ahead and sanded and painted it. I mean, look at this thing right now. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just the red is so nice. I can't wait to get the badges back on, to get the lip on the front, and to get the wing on the back. That is going to absolutely complete the look of this car and make it look so good. And then once we transfer over the wheels, lower it just a little bit with the lowering springs, it is going to make this car have the perfect restoration stance. It's going to look immaculate. I am so excited to get everything else on this car. So now it works out for us, but he actually didn't end up coming home in the weekend that I thought he was going to, which means we have a little more time to work on this car originally than anticipated, which we're going to absolutely maximize. So we're gonna have to wait for his car to come before we could put in the front lip and the rear wing and all that good stuff. He's coming down this Friday and I'm gonna steal his car without him noticing. But the next thing I want to do is to attack the interior. If you guys remember the other video when we gave my brother the car, one of the things that we did was we tinted the entire interior black. Now, I was thinking about doing the same thing for him on this car, but I came up with 2 reasons why I don't think it's the right move, or at least right now why it's not the right move. The first reason is that since it only is going to have about a week to off gas, there's no chance that they would fully be able to get the smell away from it, or at least out of the interior enough before I give him the car, which is really going to be a detriment because immediately he's going to start driving the car. So there's not going to be really any time for that paint smell or that tint smell to dry up. Secondly is the fact that this interior is already gray. It's not tan like the other one was. So a gray interior looks a lot better in comparison to the red exterior than the tan did. The tan didn't really look phenomenal. Now it looks good in certain situations when it's a nice brown tan like the Miatas did, but in the case of the Mustang it didn't look good. But since the interior of this Mustang is a gray, I'm going to go ahead and keep it as is. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to clean it up though a little bit more so that way it's fully protected and ready for him. Although we are going to be replacing these seats with his seats. So let's go ahead and start though with it cleaning up the interior to make it perfectly clean for him when he gets the car.
Shine Armor once again helped me out with cleaning the car as they sent me a set of wipes to try out on the interior, and these wipes I gotta say are actually quite amazing. They're super easy to use. All you have to do is you just wipe down whatever surface on your interior with a wipe and then follow it up buffing it out with a microfiber towel, and just like that you get the trim restored to this perfect matte finish. In addition to that, they help protect the car's interior and keep it from cracking, which I know personally is super important to do because cracked interiors devalue your car like nobody's business. So it is incredibly helpful to have this product, one that's easy to use, leaves a great smooth factory looking result, and are incredibly easy to store once you're done using. So thank you once again to Shine Armor for helping us out, and you go ahead and check out the link in the description for more of their products.
The next thing that we have on our list of things to do is to go ahead and reattach all the badges and the wings. So let's get that done. Alright, with our interior cleaned up, it's now time to start doing some of the more finer details of this project. And like actually genuinely, aside from like the scripted part of things, I do really like those wipes. They're incredibly handy just to wipe off the dash. That's the thing that always bugs me when I'm driving my car, is when my dash starts to get dusty. It just makes me feel like I never take care of my car. So just honest opinion, honest review, the wipes are really, really nice. Like I used them on my van as well up there because after cleaning up the Mustang, I was like, oh hey, these things are great. And so yeah, those are awesome. So genuinely check them out at least. Worst case scenario. They have a lot of other stuff as well that I've showed in the past that's very handy. I have another thing as well for another video. So anyway, the next thing that we have on the list that I want to tackle is this upper cowl area and the mirrors, and also the front grille as well. Now the thing was, these are actually fine in the sense that there's really not any cracks or anything to them, but after painting the car especially, I noticed how faded these are in comparison to the actual red or everything else. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and pull off the cowl, the windshield wipers, and the mirror, and the front grille, so that way I could respray all the black parts with a new layer of black, so that way they really, really stand out in comparison to the fresh red that we have, because this red is absolutely popping. Semi-side tangent, but I'm actually like fairly proud of how this Mustang came out. Now, not as a whole, but the roof and the hood, any of those surfaces that are facing up actually turned out really well. I need to get better at spraying the sides. I was too afraid of run, so I ended up not spraying on a thick enough clear coat, but best paint job I've done so far. I have to look on the bright side. It's not perfect by any means. It's nowhere close, but we're not seeing steps backwards. So anyway, let's get back to what I'm really comfortable with, which is rattle cans. Sometimes I'm stupid. I just had a stupid moment. I completely forgot to actually film the process of painting the windshield wipers and the front grille. So it happened. Sorry. So the grille's all blacked out now and the windshield wipers are just finishing drying. I'm gonna leave them there over the night so they can cure before I go ahead and put new windshield wipers back on them. But we have that done. And as you can see, the car's now in the garage. Now the reason for this is the fact that when I'm going to swap everything over, I have the time scheduled, but it's going to rain like buckets outside. So I wanna get this in the garage. So for the meantime, I moved the 3000 outside, and then this is now taking up the space. So the next thing that we need to do is to prepare for the time that we're actually going to spend swapping it over, because when I get my brother's car, just as I said, I only have one night to do it, and so I just need to go ham, which means I don't want to have to start taking parts off this car then. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and jack it up and just start taking everything off that's going to be swapped over. Now it isn't too much, all things being said. It's just headlights, taillights, wheels, and lowering springs. So it's really not much, but nonetheless, the lowering springs are going to take the longest time. So if I can get this car jacked up and have them off, not only will it make the process that much faster, but I'll have a little experience and refresh my mind on how to take the lowering springs off and on, which will make it that much quicker when I get my brother's car in. So that's the next thing that we have to do. I'm going to go ahead and jack the car up and start pulling everything off. currently 10:45 p.m. I'm picking my brother up tomorrow at 7:15 a.m. and we're just getting started. This is the only time I can get his car. I had to tell him that what did I tell him? I think I told him I got new control arms to help fix the shake in his car because his car shakes pretty badly. Well, not like super, it shakes. Anyway, I don't even know if he knows what a control arm is, but he thinks I'm fixing his Mustang, which I kind of am, but you know what's going on. Anyway, I would absolutely love to be able to give you guys check-in points, but honestly, it's so late, and knowing I'm gonna have to get up early tomorrow, pretty sure I'm gonna have to put my head down and just grind. Also, first off, you could even tell the color difference just by like them sitting here. This looks so much better. I'm so happy with this. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. I'm just gonna put the camera down, enjoy the transformation. It's like 5 something in the morning. I think it's almost 5:15 in the morning. I haven't slept. I've got the car pretty much done. I got the interior swapped over. I got the suspension swapped over, the wheels swapped over. I just got back from a test drive. Unfortunately, it's not perfect. There's a bit of shake. I'm 90% sure it's coming from one of the wheel spacers. One of the ones that was on his car actually was like near broken, so I didn't want to put it back on this one. So I tried to throw on some other ones that I had, but it's not cutting it. So I'm just gonna throw on the rear spacers that he had, and I'll just order some new ones for the front later. But I mean, it looks amazing, honestly. I apologize for not having the best view, but I mean, just this such vibrant red and all the way back. It's just such a good stinking looking car. I absolutely love it. So yeah, these front spacers are the ones that normally go in the back, and then the back ones were some extra huge ones that I had bought that I never used because they're ridiculous. But they were made for a Mustang. They just didn't quite fit the wheel right, so I kind of forced them on, and I think that's the issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull those ones off, put the rear ones that are on the front back under the rear, and the front will just have no spacers. So it'll look a little off, but it's actually not gonna be too awful. As long as the back's filled out, that honestly will look better than anything. So that's our plan. That being said, I gotta get up in an hour and a half to go pick up my brother, and I'm volunteering at something all day on today in like 2 hours. So I'm gonna take a quick hour and a half power nap. I'm debating just staying up so I'm not groggy, but I'm starting to fade. So yeah, it's just hard for my head to keep focused. So I'm gonna try to grab a quick nap. I'll load up on some coffee in the morning. Tomorrow's the big day. I can't wait.
1 hour later.
All right, I'm so sorry that it's dark. It's 7:30 in the morning. I was supposed to pick my brother up at 7:15. I'm late, but I'm driving down my parents' driveway now to get in the car. So this is it. Got the shake gone. It's all sorted out. I'm wide awake. It's go time. Did you wash it?
Yeah.
Nice. That was really good. Different car. What? Wait. What the heck? When did this happen?
I stayed up till 5:15 in the morning. Taking all the stuff from the V6 Mustang and
and putting it on a V8. This is your new car.
Oh my.
And then I repainted it and obviously put everything else on it.
You already repainted it?
Yep, I repainted it on last Monday.
Wow. I came out, I didn't notice anything different. It was like, wow, that's a really nice red. I don't think I've seen it this consistent color, and you must have washed it or something.
I was gonna say, I was like, if this is a sunny day, it would give it away so quick, but I was like, if it's raining, you might not notice right away.
Wow. And then I noticed the tails. I like the gray on the wing back there. Wow.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Wow. Oh, the color is so nice. So you swapped everything?
Everything. Everything. Literally took an hour nap, woke up at 6:30, 6:45 to fix the final thing, and then drove it over. You're gonna have to, you gotta hit the gas at least once on a straight.
Okay.
Just foot to the floor and see what it feels like.
I can go up hills. Oh, this is so nice. Wow. And it doesn't shake. Everything just feels smoother to use. There's no like pulling the windshield wiper bar. Wow. And everything's like the same but better. The sound. Oh yeah. Okay, I think this is where you wanted me to floor it, but it's a downhill, so we'll see what happens. That was nice. That's good. That is so nice. That's awesome. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
What'd you think?
That is, oh, it's so much nicer. I don't know if it's placebo, but even going over like potholes and stuff, it felt smoother. And like, it's not just the GT, it just feels like a newer car. Cause like, when I first turned, or when it was on already, but I pulled down the handbrake, that felt smoother. Shifting into reverse, that felt smoother. I didn't have to like wiggle it and hear clicks as it was going down.
Yeah.
And then just like doing the turn signal, I didn't have to like bring it back to the position and do the turn signal. I mean, when I first opened the door, I thought you just like cleaned the heck out of it. And I walked around the back. Ooh, I wake up alarm. Yeah. And then,
Kind of gives it away.
yeah, a little bit. I didn't notice that one.
I know. You walked right by the GT one on the side.
Well, I was too focused on this part right here. That's like still there.
I need you to pose for a thumbnail. Hit me with the hands on the head. I didn't. All right, perfect.